Hello, it's Reija and welcome to another video. Today I am going to be reflecting on my 2019 goals and going over some statistics and then setting my goals for 2020. And I hope you will enjoy. Let's get started. So first up, I will let 2019 Reija take the stage and let's see what I promised myself I would be doing goals-wise in 2019.
So this year, I decided that I will put my goal as 52 books or 52 things.
Okay, so first goal, so good. I managed to read 75 things in 2019, so I would say that this goal was definitely a success. I will say that I wish that I had pushed for a little more quality in terms of not pushing myself to read many books, instead taking my time to really enjoy and think about the things I read. So, but in any case, I feel like this year was better than 2018 in terms of quality. You remember that I said last year that I felt that my enjoyment of reading was kind of going down because I was reading so much. And last year when I took some time to actually think about what I wanted to read, and I was not pushing myself to read more than I wanted to in any given moment, I feel like that had a positive impact on my reading. So yeah, this goal was a success.
My second challenge for myself, my second goal, is to reread some of my old favorite books to see if they still hold up. And
this goal, not so much. I did not reread anything. I was planning to reread 5 things and I never picked up any old favorite books. I feel like there is this pressure to be up to date with new releases, especially since I'm participating in nominating and reading for the Hugo Awards and also for the BookTube SFF Awards and stuff. So there's this pressure to constantly be reading new things and new releases and last year's releases instead of taking time to read some old favorites. So yeah, this did not go over so well.
My next goal is to read Finnish fantasy books. And I have made a whole video about this, about the books, about the Finnish fantasy books that I want to read into. My next goal is to listen to audiobooks, and I am going to challenge myself to listen to 1 audiobook per month.
This one I knocked out of the park. I feel like I am now a complete convert to audiobooks. I have been listening to audiobooks each month, especially non-fiction. I feel like I've gotten a lot more enjoyment and engagement out of listening to audiobooks and discovering new genres that way. I can multitask. It has been really enjoyable. And I've also discovered that I can dip in and out of an audiobook while I'm reading the physical thing. So if I need to go somewhere or have lunch by myself or something, then I can listen to the audiobook version, and in that way I can move forward in the book. So yeah, I've been doing that a bunch and it has been very fun. So hoping to listen to even more audiobooks this year.
My next goal is to read things out of my comfort zone. So as you well know, I am an avid reader of fantasy. I sometimes read science fiction, I read fairy tales and poetry, I read manga. But this year I want to challenge myself to read some more literary fiction. I want to read more non-fiction. I just want to read more things out of my comfort zone.
In 2019, I definitely dipped in more genres than previously. I listened to a lot of contemporary books and like contemporary dramas and romances, and also non-fiction. So I would say that I definitely read out of my comfort zone. In my goal, I said that if I read 5 things that were from different genres than I usually gravitate towards, then that would be a success, and I definitely did more than that. So I will count this as a success.
And in a similar vein, I have put down another goal, that is to read more classics, and I have put down another tracker for 5 books.
And what a bummer to end the goal reflection on a sour note. No, I did not read any single classic last year. I was supposed to buddy read Frankenstein with Shannon from That's So Poe, and we ended up not doing that because I was in a very bad mental health spot and I just couldn't handle reading books with that sort of subject material. So yeah, no classics for me last year in 2019. But I did manage to complete half of my goals, 3 out of 6 goals that I set for myself, 50%. That is a win for me. I am ecstatic about that. So yeah, sometimes you lose some, sometimes you win some, and I think that I am very happy with how I managed myself in 2019. Now then, before we go over my 2020 goals, let's go over some stats. First of all, book status. I am very happy to report that 54.1% of the books I read were from the library, and 20.3% were from my own shelf. And so I am very happy with this percentage, because all of the purchases that you see in this graph were audiobooks. I didn't purchase almost any books until I went to Dublin and, completely trashed my book buying map. But anyway, I am very happy with how this turned out. I'm hoping that this year I will be reading even more books from my own physical TBR. In terms of format, a little less than half of the books I read were comics, so graphic novels and manga. This is pretty standard for me. I read a lot of graphic novels and comics and manga. Also, 18.8% of the books I read were in audio, so I think that that's also a very good percentage, considering that prior to 2019 I didn't really... MOSFET. Considering that prior to 2019 I didn't really listen to audios. In terms of genre statistics, 42.7% were fantasy and 20% were sci-fi. And this is a huge leg up for sci-fi this year. I feel like 2019 definitely was a year of sci-fi for me. I feel a lot less intimidated by the genre now, and I feel like I want to read even more sci-fi come 2020. In terms of physical or digital books, you can see that 82.4% of the books I read were in physical form. Hei! Koita nyt olla. Please. Next up, let's go over age demographics. So 62.7% were adult books, so this doesn't surprise me at all. 30.7% were YA. This is a little surprising to me because I felt like I didn't read a ton of YA last year, but apparently 1/3 of my books that I read were YA. Author gender, 68% of the authors I read identified as female, so that's huge. Then 1.3% identified as transgender, and I feel like this is where I need to do better. I definitely want to read more from non-binary and transgender authors in 2020. And then for diversity, 25% was a combo, so combination of race, LGBTQIA plus or disability or some other rep. So that was a sort of, those were sort of like more intersectional books. 5.6% of the books I read were queer in some way, and I feel like this is once again where I want to do better, because I am queer myself. I want to give more attention to queer books. MOSFET! And then 37.5% were where I deemed the diversity as none. But I feel kind of torn about this, because I feel like, for example, if I read a book that has like little to no diversity in terms of like race or sexual orientation, etc., but the author is from a completely different culture than me. Say, for example, I'm currently reading Vita Nostra, that's from Ukraine. And for me, that's a diverse read in terms of like the culture. But I don't know how to classify that. So if you have any thoughts about this, I would very much be interested in hearing what you have to say and how I should classify those kinds of books. So yeah, those are some statistics that I tracked, and hopefully this year I will be tracking even more statistics. I'm very excited. I have already read some pretty amazing books, and yeah, I'm excited. And now let's go over my 2020 goals. My 2020 goals are as follows. I want to read at least 20 books off of my physical owned TBR. I feel like the TBR Jenga is going to help a lot with that. I have already read a few books from my physical TBR, so this goal is on its way to completion, and I am happy about that. And since I completely failed the reading the Finnish books goal that I had, I am putting it back on for 2020. I want to read at least 5 Finnish books, and I have something to help me with that. That I'm going to be announcing later in the year. But let's just say that I am doing something to help me with this goal. My next goal is to read ebooks in 2020. I have put myself down to read 10 ebooks this year because I have a huge ton of ebooks on my Kindle that are just sitting there and are unread. I also have some NetGalley arcs that really need to be read and reviewed. So I'm trying to tackle my digital TBR as well this year. And my next goal is to reread the Riverside books by Ellen Kushner, so that means Swords Point, Privilege of the Sword, and Fall of the Kings. This is because I want to read Tremontaine, which is their short story collection and sort of like prequel story for Riverside. So yeah, I'm trying to reread those 3 this year. And if you want to buddy read any of them with me, give me a holler, and I will definitely try to make time for and schedule the rereads so that I may buddy read the books with you. And my final reading goal is to listen to audiobooks, and I have once again put down 1 audiobook per month, and I did so well with this goal last year that I want to re-establish it. So 1 audiobook per month, and so 12 audiobooks this year, and I will count that as a success. My next goals are relating to the channel. So last year my channel goal was to reach 600 subscribers, and I reached 620 by the end of the year, and I am so grateful to every single one of you who has subscribed and watches my videos and comments. I am so grateful for your presence. You are the reason, one of the reasons why I keep making these videos, and I just love the conversations I'm having with every one of you, and it just warms my heart. And this year I am hoping tentatively to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That would be super awesome, because then I would be able to get the community features and post polls and stuff, and make this channel an even more engaging experience for like both my subscribers and friends and viewers and myself. So that would be awesome. My next channel goal is to do one collaborative effort. So this may be like a collaboration video, a tag of some sort, a challenge, or something. I'm not sure how it will come to fruition, but I definitely want to have one collaborative video this year where I work with other booktubers to do some sort of collaborative feature. So yeah, that would be nice. And my next channel goal is to do more single book reviews. So that means that when I finish reading a book, I will actually sit down and post a video review of that book. I have tentatively put down tick boxes for 4 reviews. So if I manage to make 4 single reviews this year, I will count that as a success, because I've been really lacking on that front. And my final channel goal is to have all of my new videos, all of the videos I post in 2020 to be subtitled. I tried previously to subtitle all of my videos, but then my mental health took a turn for the worst. So it's been very difficult for me to keep up with that, because it takes a lot of time, and when you're editing the subtitles, you're kind of in your own head in a bit. So sometimes it is not good for your mental health to be doing that. So yeah, I kind of dropped off the bandwagon there, but I'm trying to give myself a break, and instead of doing a huge goal, like having all of my videos subtitled by the end of the year, I'm focusing on having all of the new ones subtitled. And I've actually put the community subtitling feature on. So if you want to help me subtitle the videos, like my older videos, if there are some older videos that you feel like would benefit from subtitles, then the community subtitling feature is on if you want to utilize that and help me out. But all of my new videos are gonna be subtitled. And there you have it. This has been my 2019 reflection and statistics and 2020 goal setting video. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though MOSFET was playing in the background and making a mess. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye bye!